Hey everyone, Hybrid Toy Reviews here, wanting to take a look again at that Bad Batch Captain Rex figure and just see if we can't make a couple of fixes to it to make it double as a better Clone Wars figure. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. Here are some supplies you are going to need. A good super glue is definitely a good one here. A X-Acto knife will make your life a lot easier on this. And then it involves buying another figure, and I will talk you through that. But it is the Walmart exclusive Imperial Shock Trooper, or the Imperial Clone Shock Trooper, and the only thing you really want off of that, and it's honestly a part you might have, is the shoulder pauldron. So that figure, you know, is basically all of them had an officer pauldron, and really you probably just want one or two of a pauldron and then a bunch of them without. So like I bought two and I took the pauldron off of one, so I've had this one laying around for a bit. We're definitely going to need this piece for the second modification. But these are three modifications you should do to your Bad Batch Rex to make it more Clone Wars accurate. The first one is not necessarily a Clone Wars accurate one. Hasbro likes to not give you trigger fingers on the left hand for your dual wielding pistol types. So what I always do is I take an X-Acto knife and just cut between the fingers. I've already done it here, but that just allows that finger to raise up. And then, instead of your figure only being able to hold the pistol like that, you're actually able to fish that trigger finger in. And it does make it look a good bit nicer when being held, a little bit more, you know, like it's properly being held and used. So that is the first mod directly to the figure. So the next thing you can do, a big inaccuracy with this figure is he has these binoculars, whereas in the show he only has the rangefinder. Now these binoculars, because they pivot, they unpeg from the helmet. Now that leaves big holes and your rangefinder's gone, and you still want that rangefinder. So this is something that I think you should do no matter what, because he doesn't have the binoculars in the show, even if you're not going to go through with the other changes. The round areas where the binoculars peg in, you should just cut them with your X-Acto knife. Just cut them off. This is where the super glue will end up coming in handy. You shine that down. We'll start with this side. Nice fresh blade would help, but I'm fresh out, so. And that little piece just shot off, but I saw where it landed. So now you have this little round piece here. And I'm going to put just the tiniest little drop of super glue I cut off for this side. Tiniest little drop of super glue. Spread it around right there. Take this and pour it back in. Slightly off camera, but now that hole there has been plugged and it's been glued in. So, and I also got a tiny bit on my fingers, but what are you going to do? Now on mine, on the binoculars, I actually had an issue where this hole was slightly wide and the binoculars wanted to unpeg on this side. So I was going to end up gluing this one no matter what. But you're going to do the same thing over here. Now this side, the peg just has a hole in the center of it for the rangefinder. So by gluing this in, you're still actually going to have that range of motion on your rangefinder. So I'll go ahead and put a little drop of glue here. It does not take much. Just one little dab. And I think I accidentally just spilled a little bit onto the rangefinder. But you know what? That's fine. I'm just going to position it in a good upright position. But now you have the helmet with the rangefinder. Without the binoculars, you don't have big holes on the helmet. One thing I did see online was a file for 3D printing a set of plugs, where you could print them in white plastic and they plug each side, and one plug had a hole for the rangefinder. And I tried printing them, and I printed them at the scale they're supposed to be, and they were too loose. And I raised the scale a little bit, and they fit the helmet right, but then the hole in the center for the rangefinder was a little rough. You can find that file on your own on Thingiverse if you so choose. But this works for me. It's a more permanent solution, but at this point, we're full-blown customizing. Still allows you to use your rangefinder, and just everything's good. You know, what's not to like about that repair? Little bit cutty, little bit, little bit of a job, but I think that worked out very nicely. Now, because we just glued those pegs in, I would say do not immediately put the helmet on the figure out of fear that there's maybe just a tiny bit of glue on the inside there, so you don't just, glue the helmet down, unless you would like to do that. So now, for the last modification to Captain Rex. You got some options on how you're going to go about doing this. I'm personally not going to do this, and I'll explain why. For the Bad Batch outfit of Captain Rex, I actually want to keep the poncho on him, because I have the Clone Wars Rex, and I kind of like the ponchoed look, so I want to keep the poncho on him. But we're going to put a pauldron on him. Now, I think if he had the pauldron on underneath, it would want to, like, hold up this sleeve too high, and it'd get in the way, and it'd be very bulky. So, if you intend to keep the poncho on, I would say stop here. Stop with the trigger finger, and the helmet fix. However, if you want to take the poncho off and you just want him to look Clone Wars-like, here's what we're going to have to do. And the one thing I can't fix also is all the weathering on him. That's just here to stay. However, you could just say that's post-battle Rex. He hasn't gone and cleaned his armor yet. But as mentioned, you would need this pauldron from the Imperial Clone Shock Trooper. Now, there's two ways I could think to do this. Way number one would be to take your X-Acto knife and cut across this line and then across this line, and now you've removed the pauldron part, and you could glue it down to the edge up here. Or alternatively, you would have to unstick this, and this one on Rex is glued down on the shoulder. You would remove this from Rex, and you could cut this pouch off of here and then glue the pouch to the front of this pauldron. And then the only thing you have to do is go find a craft paint of your choice that matches the blue of Captain Rex. Just take your figure to the store and hold up the bottles and see what blue looks best. And the nice thing about these is these are raised, so it doesn't really take a ton of artistic skill. You would just, go and just fill in the squares with blue, do a couple of coats until it's looking nice, and then if you've glued your, your box here, you would just glue this on there, and you would have, at that point, a Captain Rex pauldron on the right side. That's not one, as I said, I'm going to do, because I really think that would interfere with putting the poncho on it. But those are my Captain Rex fixes. Those are how you can make Captain Rex a lot more Clone Wars accurate. So, that is basically my video. I think that this figure is definitely viable. You're going to end up having another Shock Trooper, but why not? Shock Troopers are cool. And it's just a viable way to get a nice placeholder since they've decided to not do the reissue of the Red Box Rex. Now, I don't think that Rex is never ever going to get a reissue. This is just a good way to get a passable Rex for right now. I'm suspicious that he's going to end up in the archive line somewhere down the road. So I would probably hold out for that if this isn't good enough. I would not go get on eBay. I have a pretty strong philosophy that there are no Black Series figures, excluding like the limited convention ones, that are worth significantly more than retail. They reissue everything. Captain Rex is too popular a character for them to never ever reissue. Captain Rex will be on shelves again in some way, somehow. Whether it be in a multi-pack, or a special edition packaging, or the archive line, or Rex shows up again in the Bad Batch and they decide to make, Bad Batch Rex again, but he doesn't wear the cloak, he's in his regular armor, so maybe they redo it that way. Or, there's a list of ways that Hasbro could do it, but Hasbro is not gonna just not touch Rex again. He's too desirable a character, and they're aware. I like to think that Hasbro's pretty self-unaware, but in reality, they know that Rex would make money if sold. So, I think that you just want to play the long game on getting a true Hasbro one, but this is a good way to make one. And it's all Black Series parts, it's all authentic, just a little bit of paint on the pauldron, and all you're doing is just modifying the helmet to take the binoculars out of the equation, and you are putting together a pauldron, it's... Otherwise, true and true all black series, other than the Pauldron being repainted, all Hasbro paint apps, all Hasbro build, it's really not a huge undertaking. With that said, and I probably should have said this first, if you are a child, please get parental permission before playing with knives and glue. Do take care to not cover your fingers in super glue. That's always unpleasant, just get parental permission. However, this is more of a adult type video. I'm suspicious. So I'm going to go. Thanks for watching. It means a lot that you did. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit that, I'm giving away this Mandalorian Artillery Stormtrooper. Been announcing that for a little while, so why don't you subscribe and hang out for that giveaway? That's what we're doing for now. I'm going to go. Thanks for watching. It means a lot that you did. I'll catch you next time. Until then, may the Force be with each and every one of you. Bye.